How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to your favorite aviation channel, and today we are here with the final video of this channel for 2024. It's a combined update for November and December 2024 for Chicago O'Hare Terminal 5. Didn't plan on making another combined update for the 2 months, but life just got super busy. Didn't have enough time in November to do one of these videos in between trips and then school and stuff like that. And the past month, December, has just been super busy too, with finishing up my last semester in university, and I was also out of town. I was traveling for the past week and a half again, but I am home for the next 2 weeks, just relaxing, taking it easy, and that's a little bit of a life update there. I did mention in the previous update about a month or two ago that I was looking at getting a new camera to replace my old Sony one, and this is being filmed on that new camera. So literally like a day or two before I left for I was in Hawaii actually the past week and a half. First time back there in about 8 years. It was really awesome to go back. That was my first ever home, so of course it was a really special trip to go back there. But like literally a day or two before I left, I got this new Panasonic camera. I forgot the exact model name I put on the screen, but paid a decent bit to finally get a new camera. But it was about time. That old Sony camera I was using for about 7.5 years, which is insane. It just had a couple of issues, functioning overall. So it was definitely time to, retire that one and then to pick up something new. So this camera can actually go up to 4K, which is pretty cool. Of course, my phone, like my iPhone, also does that, but I haven't actually filmed a video in 4K before. This video is definitely not going to be in 4K. It's going to be the usual 1080p. But maybe some plane spotting videos in the future, I might try 4K out, but I'm not too sure about that at the moment. So yeah, I used it on the trip for the first time, and it worked pretty well. I haven't done a proper spotting video with it. I haven't really used it that much, but the amount of times I used it on the trip, it was really nice. But I guess when you start seeing the trip reports and stuff that start coming out from that trip, and also this is actually the first video on the channel filmed with this new camera. So let me know what you think. I mean, you'll be the judge of it at the end of the day, the quality, but hopefully it's good. It seems pretty good. From what I can tell. And yeah, so that's it for this little yap session. This whole update's going to be a yap session. I don't know what I'm talking about, but this O'Hare update's based at 7 p.m. So usual bit of evening traffic that you've seen before. But let's go ahead and get started without any further delay. Alright, so we're going to start over here as usual with the Delta Airlines portion of the terminal. So here at gate M6 we've got an A220-300. And this aircraft just came in from Salt Lake City. It's flight 2377. It's going to go back out to Salt Lake City with that same flight number. And only one other Delta plane today, 757-200. This one's pulling in from Atlanta. It's flight 20. I have it written down here. Where does it say? 2879 from Atlanta. And it's going to go back to Atlanta in about an hour or two with that same flight number. And that's it for Delta. Surprising how few Deltas there were at this time. I was checking and I was like, there's only 2? That's a bit weird, because usually you've seen like 3, 4, maybe 5 in the previous updates, but I guess it depends on the time, of course. Okay, moving on to M15. Oh, this is a new one. You haven't seen, not a new one, but you haven't seen this one in a while. It's the Scandinavian A350-900. This aircraft is here from Copenhagen as flight 943, but in reality it's actually getting ready to go back to Copenhagen as flight 944. They have upgauged Copenhagen to the 350 for the winter. They always do this, actually. I never forget. I always forget to mention it. So I guess it's 330 in the summer and fall or something like that. I don't even know what Scandinavian's doing. They're really, really weird. I haven't really paid attention to what they do, but they're giving us 350 for at least the winter, which is nice. And they are part of SkyTeam now. This model is a bit outdated. Actually all the Scandinavian models now are outdated because they all have the Star Alliance logo, as you can see. And nobody's really made an updated Scandinavian model yet with the SkyTeam logos, but I'm not too sure what I'm going to do about that. You see the Star Alliance logo right there by the cockpit. So I'm definitely not going to try and add it myself. We'll wait and see if somebody ends up releasing a Scandinavian model with the updated logo, but that's the status on that. But here's an airline that's still in Star Alliance and probably will not leave Star Alliance anytime soon. Really, really weird to imagine Scandinavian not in Star Alliance, because they were a founding member back in '97, but it is what it is. Anyway, Swiss A330-300 here for Flight 9 back to Zurich, Flight 8 from Zurich. That's the usual year-round service. I don't remember if last update I covered that, but the 777, of course, is not here anymore for the winter and spring, and then they'll bring it back on this flight in the summer and fall. And then the A330 will do the seasonal summer flight 6 and 7. But for now, winter and spring is just one daily flight to Zurich on Swiss on the 330. I have seen this exact plane multiple times in JHL. I actually saw it in, last month when I was going to New York on the Spirit 321. It's in that video actually, was it my previous video? The Spirit 321 video? It's actually, this exact plane is featured in that video. Pretty cool. Alright, moving on. EVA 777-300ER just came in from Taipei as Flight 56. I believe they have upgraded. They've changed their timings at O'Hare, so they arrive at 7:30 p.m. instead of, I think it was 8:30 or 9 p.m. during the summer. So you do get to see them earlier now during the winter at least, alongside all the other heavies, which is pretty cool. And then I think they still depart around 11:30 p.m., 12 a.m. Back to Taipei. So this will go back to Taipei later on as Flight 55. And moving on to gate M19, we have a British Airways Boeing 787-10, just came in from London Heathrow as Flight 297. Just going to offload passengers and cargo here, and then of course BA now departs from Terminal 3. So the aircraft's going to get pushed back, and then it'll taxi over to Terminal 3, where it's going to board passengers and depart back to Heathrow in about 2 hours as Flight 296. Alright, here at M20, we've got a United 777-200. This aircraft arrived about an hour or two ago from Cancun as Flight 1423, and is now getting pushed back. It'll get towed to Terminal 1 for its next departure. I covered this last year. United does upgauge one of the Cancun flights to a 777 during the winter. They've actually been sending 777-200s to Fort Lauderdale recently for, I think it's like a temporary, like 2-week thing. They're doing 777s to Fort Lauderdale once a day. And then of course you have 777s to Orlando as well. And then like I said, this one, seasonal upgauge to Cancun for one of the many daily flights they have down there. So this is the only time nowadays that you'll see United 777 at Terminal 5. A bit of a throwback to the good old days when these planes, the 200 ERs, would do all the Asia flights, the Sao Paulo route, and then also some routes to Europe. Of course, now that's all 787s, and then 2 767 routes now, one to London and one to Zurich. So no more 777s now, but it is what it is. I mean, that's just how times change here in Chicago. But yeah, that 777 came from Cancun and is going off to Terminal 1. Alright, in this shot we've got two Volaris aircraft. The one in the background pushing out of M21 is an A320neo. It's going off to, I wrote this down, it's going to Querétaro, Mexico as Flight 793. And then the one in the foreground with the A321neo at M24. This aircraft is here from Morelia as Flight 5254 and is just getting offloaded. And moving on to M25 is the Royal Jordanian 787. This aircraft is going to be pushing back shortly for Amman as Flight 264. And yeah, that's that one. Alright, next up here we got some narrow bodies. M26 American, was a 777, wow. 737-800 here from Punta Cana, Flight 317. Just getting offloaded there. We'll soon be pushing back to go to Terminal 3. And then at M27, here's a 737-900ER from United. This aircraft is here from, I wrote Belize City for that one. I don't think that's right. That should say, that's a different plane, sorry. It's a plane I actually forgot to put in the update. This 739, I'm sorry, came from Cancun. This is the later flight from Cancun, Flight 1667. So the 777 you saw before, that comes in like 5:30, 6 p.m. And then the 739 comes in around 7 or so p.m. So this one just came in and is currently getting offloaded. And next up at M29 is the Lot Polish 7878 with the Polish Olympic team sticker on the back. This plane just came in from Warsaw as Flight 3 and will in a couple hours operate Flight 4 back out to Warsaw. And just pushed out of M30, here's the Iceland Air 737 MAX 9. It's going back to Reykjavik as Flight 852. And over here we got two more hometown narrow bodies. M32 is an American 737-800 coming in from San Jose del Cabo, Mexico as Flight 2668. And then at M33 is United A320 here from Mexico City as Flight 474. Alright, so you saw this in the intro. You might have not thought much about it, but this is the first time you're seeing the Emirates new livery in a O'Hare update. And this is not a fantasy or anything like that. Emirates does technically now fly the new livery into Chicago. Long story short, Chicago is now one of the destinations that Emirates is giving their new premium economy. Emirates just recently rolled out premium economy on their 777s and A380s. Well, that's basically their whole fleet, so sorry. But yeah, premium economy is a new thing to Emirates, and Chicago is one of their new premium economy destinations. So now the 777s that Emirates is flying to Chicago are basically all the newest ones that have the new game-changing first class, the new premium economy, and then of course the newest economy class seats with the giant screens and stuff. Business class, they don't have that new 121 yet. As far as I'm aware, the 777s still have the 232 in business, but still it's their current newest offering on board, those current 777s. So all the newest ones are now flying to Chicago, and one of those planes is in the new livery. A6EQH is the registration. This one right here is ENV, as you can see, so it's not the exact plane, but there is one Emirates 333 in the new livery that does come to Chicago periodically now because it's got the new premium economy and stuff like that. So really cool. It finally gives me an excuse to put this model in an ohare update. I think you might have seen this one before in a Karachi update, but still, this is Emirates 235 from Dubai and is currently getting serviced for the return flight as that'd be flight 236. Okay, next up at M35 is the Sun Country 737-800, Minnesota's airline. This aircraft came in from Minneapolis, St. Paul as flight 261, and will be heading back out there as flight 262. It's actually in Minneapolis. From the time you're watching this, I was there almost a week ago, coming back from Honolulu. Flew Delta, Honolulu to Minneapolis, and then Minneapolis to Indianapolis, funnily enough. But yeah, Sun Country, if you didn't know, they are based in Minneapolis. That's I think their main hub, which is pretty cool. I mean, you tend to forget Minneapolis has, besides Delta, they have their own little airline, Sun Country. I don't think they have any hubs elsewhere. They might have one small hub in like Miami or not Miami, Las Vegas. But no, Minneapolis is their home base, Sun Country. So pretty cool little airline, and they just have that one flight a day into Chicago. So this is that one. You barely see it. I've only seen it once or twice. It's a kind of a random service too. I don't know why Sun Country flies here instead of Midway, for example, because they are technically more of a low-cost airline, but pretty cool nonetheless. All right, next up at M37, we have the Turkish Airlines Boeing 777-300ER here from Istanbul as flight 5. Kind of unrealistic that this flight is here at 7 p.m. because, well, I posted this on my Instagram. This flight has been horrendously late every day for the past week. I've literally checked every day since December 21st. This flight has been at least 3 hours late leaving Istanbul, which is weird because whatever plane is operating the flight, it's always on time getting into Istanbul from wherever it's coming from, like Miami or Dulles or Tokyo or Atlanta. But for some reason, when it's trying to leave Istanbul, it's like 3 hours late every single day. If you don't believe me, go check TK5 on Flight Radar. You'll see it's delayed every single day from December 21st onwards, at least. At the time of filming, it's been delayed 3 hours, 4 hours every day coming into Chicago, which is weird. I don't know the exact reason why. I haven't gotten a straight answer, but it's been delayed every single time. And not just this flight, it's a bunch of departures going to the U.S. So I've seen it with the one of the Miami flights, one of the New York flights, I think the Atlanta flight as well, a bunch of the U.S.-bound services. And strangely enough, all of them 777s, they've all just been delayed a minimum of like 2 to 3 hours, which is really, really confusing. Not too sure why, but I'm assuming it's got something to do with extra security. But then again, why is it just those specific flights? It's literally every day for the past week just been straight delays. And so when it leaves Chicago, TK6, which is this outbound flight, it's supposed to depart Chicago at I think 8:30 or 9 p.m. But when it leaves, because of the delay, it's not leaving until 11 p.m., 12 a.m., maybe even later. So really concerning, but, you know, I'm not too sure what's up with that. If anybody knows, do let me know in the comments. All right, next up at M39 is the Qatar Airways Boeing 777-300ER in the Formula One Grand Prix special livery. And this aircraft is getting serviced for its departure back to Doha as Flight 726. Of course, it came in from Doha as Flight 725. So there we go. And last aircraft of the update at M40 is the Southwest 737 MAX 8 in the Canyon Blue special livery, or the livery honoring Colleen Barrett. This aircraft came from Dallas Love Field as Flight 3244 and will now be departing to Denver as Flight 1852. So funnily enough, I think I saw this plane 3 times in Hawaii when I was there. Literally, as soon as I got off my flight from Detroit, this plane was at like the next gate over, and then I saw it 2 other times later on from my hotel. It was doing a bunch of those inter-island flights that Southwest has started doing. Well, they've grown a lot. It's crazy how much Southwest has grown in Hawaii despite only launching flights there a couple years back. But yeah, saw it a couple times in Hawaii, pretty cool. And I think that might have been my first time seeing it. I could be wrong, but it's a cool plane. I love the Canyon Blue. It's a shame that it's obsolete now from the rest of the fleet, but you know, at least you have this airplane keeping the spirit alive. All right, and that brings us to the end of this update for November and December 2024. Final video on this channel for the year. It's been fun. Hope you've enjoyed watching it. Hope to keep it going in 2025. I don't have any major plans for the mat itself. I am trying to see if I can get a new mat made, surprisingly enough, even though I did make this entire thing last year, if you remember. It's been almost exactly a year, surprisingly, but that's crazy since we brought out this whole new thing. I spent, I think, almost all of winter break last year putting this together. But I was reached out to by someone who was offering to make a completely new mat. So I will try to see what we can do with that, because it would definitely be a lot more realistic than what I have right here. So, and definitely a lot more, you know, scaled with regards to the proportions and stuff, because there's definitely some stuff messed up with especially the medians, the grass, all that stuff is just a little bit wonky. But again, we'll see what we can do. I'm not too sure what the timeline is with that project, but you know, like I said, it's kind of a long-term sort of thing. But anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was worth the wait, because it's been a long time since an airport update on this channel. It's just been straight trip reports and like aviation news videos, which I hope you enjoy nonetheless. I love making those videos a lot more than these, to be honest. They're so fun to make. Plenty more of those to come in the future, so stay tuned. Until then, until the next video, which should be coming out Wednesday, I hope. Take care, everybody. Be safe, and I will catch you next time. Goodbye.